So I'm here again. I hope everybody's doing good. I just felt a little inspired this morning, and I feel like I just want to tell everybody it's going to be okay. um, I've noticed in the past couple days that I'm getting better and better. Things are changing. The recovery of this is so different from anything I've ever experienced. Um, I just wanted to, they say, well, videos, everything, that don't focus on it. And I know that that is impossible. You can think about it and you can talk about it. But when you realize that that you're not going to do anything about it, that's when you start healing. That's when it starts changing. I did everything. In the beginning, I know that when your nervous system is, when it takes a toll, when everything takes a toll, your nervous system gets damaged. And it's really hard there's really nothing you can do. You have to wait for that to heal. And I mean, so my nervous system was a wreck. But years and years of stress and years of trauma, I think I was walking around holding in. And I think I could have handled my nephew's passing. I mean, I was holding up pretty good. My sister came to stay with me. I got COVID. I didn't know I had COVID. I had no symptoms. I had no fever. I had nothing. And it hit my third cranial nerve. I got third cranial nerve palsy. So it kind of went into the way I see it is it went into my brain. And it destroyed my cranial nerve. And I couldn't see. And I've already told this story. So I could see double. So the right eye was not aligned because the cranial nerve was destroyed. So it wasn't aligned with the left eye, which you won't be able to see straight. You won't be able to see right. Anyway, I probably could have handled that also. So the stress just was an immense amount of stress. And I wish I would have known about benzos, because I will never touch another benzo as long as I live. I had some old Ativan that the doctor had given me years and years ago. And I was in a bad marriage. So anyway, I was stressed out. So anyway, long story short, had this old Ativan, and I started taking it when that happened with my eyes. But I'd wake up every morning, I'd jump up and I couldn't see, and I'd walk around maybe, and I'd lay in bed every morning and I'd look at the light on the ceiling, and I would gauge, because I would see two of everything. So I would look at the light and I'd stare at it every morning and see if it was getting closer together, if the one light way over here to the right was getting closer to the light on the left, if they were going to come together at some point and be one light again. I would stare at it every morning and see the distance, and I noticed that the distance was getting closer and closer. It was 4 months of it. So I started taking a little bit of Ativan. Next thing I knew, I was taking a little, I was taking a half of an Ativan, and I was taking one to go to sleep. I was taking one in the middle of the day just to calm down, because I was walking around not being able to see. It was pretty bad. So next thing you know, I was taking a whole Ativan, then taking two Ativan. They were pretty old, but I took them for 4 months, and I didn't know anything about them. All I knew was they were calming me down. And then my sister left for a couple days. She was here, and I'd been going through that with her. I could hear her crying all the time. It was just, and I decided to stop cold turkey taking that when she left. And I think that's when I got had a full blown panic attack the day after she left. She was kind of my person that was like helping me do things, and like she'd help me cross the street and she'd take me to the store, and she would, she was driving me everywhere because I couldn't see, I couldn't drive. I remember the first time I was able to drive again. She was in, the passenger seat cheering me on, and it was amazing. I could actually see the road. There weren't two lines in the road anymore. Um, so we went through that. We went through my nephew, and then and then I went through the eye thing, the palsy, and but anyway, by the time I recovered, I had been thrown into such bad anxiety that I didn't even notice that my eyes were better. I didn't even get to enjoy that part. Um, I was walking every day and trying to gauge how if I could see, every day the same bush, the same tree, the same double sign. um, anyway, the Ativan, I think, threw me into full blown anxiety. I just quit taking it cold turkey, and the next thing I knew, my nervous system was a wreck. And maybe it was from the COVID too, because COVID can cause really bad anxiety, they're saying. Anyway, it was just a huge conglomeration of things all blended together that just wreaked havoc. So I just wanted to touch on a little thing that my anxiety started in June, I believe, and I just started getting better. This healing process of maybe about, I want to say 3 months ago, that it's just started actually, and I think around um, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I just was like, stop fighting, stop avoiding. I started realizing that how I was avoiding. I started realizing how I was fighting. Even now, I'll realize how I'm avoiding, and I'll be like, no avoiding. They're just little things. But once you stop avoiding things, and once you stop fighting, um, and just realize that there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you're going to do, and you're going to sit with it. And I know it's hard, but it gets easier and easier and easier. And I think the healing process starts when you mentally make a note of the fact that you are going to stop avoiding, you are going to stop fighting, you are going to push through things, you are going to do things even if you don't want to. Avoiding, even, I get comfort in going and doing certain things, and I realize that if like I'm going to be alone all day, let's say, I'll start getting like a little freaked out, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go somewhere all day long, and I'm going to go do this. And then I'm like, you're avoiding. You're going to sit home and you're going to do this. You are not going to avoid the day by going and doing something. But I realize, and you probably will too, that what you're doing to avoid. There were so many things I did to avoid. Once I stopped avoiding, I started healing. It's so strange. Um, there were times when I was going through this intense anxiety. Every night, if I woke up, I would jump out of bed and start pacing and turn on all the lights, and I'd be, oh my God, oh my God. That would be a form of avoidance. When I started just laying in bed and going, okay, I'm going to let this go through me, this feeling, I am not going to run away from it. When I started doing that, I started healing. That I got the enjoyment back of sleeping. That stopped. I stopped that getting up and turning on the light and pacing and running. I wanted to run away from it. Don't run away from it. Stop running away from it. Once you start doing that, you start the climb, the healing. You start climbing that mountain, and there will be no turning back. It's amazing. So I know it's hard. You have to come to that realization that that's what you're going to do. You have to come to that and say, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. I would get up in the middle of the night and I would take magnesium and L-theanine, and I would take, I know I hit on this subject once, I would take the antihistamine that the doctor gave me. All those things are so bad. But, I didn't, I needed I felt like I needed the help to get through. And once I stopped taking all that stuff and was like, okay, I'm going to do this, then I started climbing that mountain. And once you start climbing that mountain and you realize that there's no more running to do, you stop running away from it because there's really nothing. You start realizing that it's just your body that's doing it. And I know it's hard to sit with that. I mean, there's some days, a few minutes ago, I had that heat go through me. And the adrenaline, and although I started thinking a little bit about some things, and I had it go through, and I just smiled, and I felt my whole body heat up. And I was like, okay, this isn't dangerous. I know it's hard to get there. Well, I know. Oh my gosh, I know. But you have to keep doing it, and the more you do it, the better it gets. So I just want everyone to know that that is the key. And I know it's hard. And if your nervous system is crazy, you got to give it time. I wish I would have known. A half a year ago that that's what I needed to do. I just wanted to take something, find this, find that. That kept me there for months and months and months. It kept me going, kept the anxiety going. I know I would go to my sister's, and she finally ended up getting her own place, and I would go there every morning, and I would pace and pace and pace in her front yard, and I couldn't go inside her house because the claustrophobia was so bad. I got claustrophobia rather than agoraphobia. I couldn't go inside, and I would cry. And I was trying so desperately to run. That's what I was doing. I was running. In the beginning, it was so intense. I didn't really know the things that I ended up learning. I watched a lot of videos, and the videos are helpful until a certain point. Once you know everything, like I watched so many videos, and once I knew, I finally was like, okay, well, I know everything I need to know. I just need to start practicing it. I need to start doing what all the knowledge that I have. I need to start like practicing it, and I did, and I slowly but surely stopped. And then there would be the days when the adrenaline would come back a little bit, and I would be like, oh, I'd hit those videos again, and I'd be like, okay, well, you are really leaning on these videos and this, but I wanted the reassurance. And then I kind of backed off on that, and then I was like, it's okay to get the reassurance once in a while. And I'd watch another new video, and here and there, and it would give me some comfort. And I'd learn something new, and you'd always, and every day it would be like, oh wow, that's true. Whatever I'd hear someone say in the video, but eventually you get to the point where you know everything you need to know. You just need to start practicing it. You need to start putting it into practice, and that's the key. Start doing what you know. Start. There's no need to run, because you'll start realizing that you're not going to be hurt by this. You're not going to, and you are going to heal. I remember the one thing that held me back a lot, would get me back into the adrenaline going again, was thinking I'm never going to get better. If I felt a little bit of adrenaline, and I was like, what have I done wrong? I feel like this was just a couple months ago. What have I done wrong? I'm not getting better. Oh my God, I'm going to stay like this forever. That is one thing that you need to stop thinking, because you will get better. It's very possible, and you can do it. And you need to stop thinking that way. Have confidence in yourself. It's there. It's obtainable. Just when you feel it, just stop. Just say, stop fighting. No more fighting. No more avoiding. just let me feel this. And then also another thing that really, really helped me was I got to get this shit out of me. This, that feeling comes on, and you're like, okay, well, let it go through, feel it, because it has to come out. It has to burn off. It has to, those feelings that you've been avoiding, don't avoid them. Feel them. Um, Let them run their course. I know that's hard too, but that's another thing I started doing. So everybody, just keep practicing. Just keep practicing. Um, it works. You'll get there. Okay, everybody. Have a good day.